Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. My name is Utsav Parekh and here are the top stories of the day. Hamas has said that talks over a ceasefire in Gaza were serious and positive. An Israeli delegation arrived in Qatar on Monday to discuss the remaining issues for a truce deal. Hamas said that a hostage deal could be possible if Israel stops imposing new conditions. Qatar, Egypt and the US have been trying to broker a truce between Israel and Hamas for months. Meanwhile, Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, has said that his country's forces are free to act in Gaza even after the war ends. He said that after eliminating Hamas, Israel would have security control over the region. Katz took to social media and described it as his own personal opinion. He added that control over the war-torn Gaza Strip would be similar to that of the West Bank. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said that the axis of resistance has not weakened after the ouster of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. He said that the US and Israel were completely wrong to imagine the collapse of the axis. Khamenei also threatened Israel, saying that it'll be eradicated from Syria. Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Commission, has said that Brussels would intensify its engagement with the new Syrian leadership. She also warned that the Islamic State terror group must not be allowed to resurface in Syria. Von der Leyen made the comments after speaking with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Earlier this week, the EU had sent an official to engage with Syria's new rebel-led government. Luigi Mangione, the suspected shooter of United Health Group executive Brian Thompson, has been indicted by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. He has been accused of fatally shooting Thompson on a Manhattan street earlier this month. Prosecutors allege that the 26-year-old intended to sow terror with the targeted, well-planned attack. Mangione faces 11 charges, including first-degree murder and terrorism. A senior US military official has said that North Korea has suffered several hundred casualties in Russia's Kursk region. The troops were sent by Pyongyang to support Russia in its war against Ukraine. They were reportedly killed while fighting. The US official added that these North Korean troops did not appear to be battle-hardened. This allegedly contributed to the significant number of casualties. The head of the Russian Army's chemical weapons unit, Igor Kirillov, was killed in Moscow on Tuesday. The Ukrainian army claimed responsibility for the attack. This was the most senior Russian military official killed in the ongoing war. Kirillov was killed along with an assistant after an explosive device attached to a scooter went off outside a building in southeastern Moscow. Russia has passed a law to suspend groups designated as terrorist organizations by the country. The new law, approved in the parliament, paves the way for Moscow to normalize ties with the Taliban along with the new leadership of Syria. This move will allow courts to remove such terror organizations from the country's official banned list. Moscow stitched ties with the Taliban after they seized power in Afghanistan. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged his allies to send more aid for troops. He made the appeal during his meeting with Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. Both the leaders also discussed Ukraine's NATO membership bid. Zelensky is also set to meet NATO chief Mark Rutte and several European leaders later today. He said that the meetings will focus on strengthening Ukraine on the battlefield. Canada has announced new security measures for its borders with the US. This includes enhanced surveillance for a joint task force to tackle transnational organized crime. The announcement came after US President-elect Donald Trump warned of a 25% tariff on Canadian goods starting next year, unless Canada restricts irregular migration and illegal drug trafficking across the border. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in Beijing. The meeting focused on maintaining peace and tranquility along border areas. The talks were aimed at reviving bilateral relations between India and China. Ties between the two countries soured due to a military standoff in eastern Ladakh in the year 2020. The 23rd round of special representative talks were held following an October 21st agreement on disengagement in the region. South Korea's Foreign Minister Cho Tae-yul said that the government sought to restore its credibility. This comes days after President Yoon Suk-yeol was impeached for briefly imposing martial law in the country. The foreign minister said that he and the acting president, Han Duck-soo, recently spoke to US President Joe Biden. He added that Biden expressed unwavering support and confidence in the US-South Korea alliance. The death toll has risen to 14 after an earthquake hit the Pacific island nation of Vanuatu. The quake triggered a brief tsunami warning and left over 200 people injured. Rescue operations are underway. The country has declared a 7-day state of emergency along with an overnight curfew. Oman has stopped issuing new permits for importing eggs from India. An Indian lawmaker has raised the issue of Oman blocking Indian egg exports in Parliament. This has dealt a significant blow to the Indian industry, as Oman has been a significant market for India's egg exports. Climate news now. Cyclone Chido has caused severe damage in Mozambique, claiming at least 34 lives. This is according to the National Institute of Risk and Disaster Management. The cyclone made landfall on Sunday in the Cabo Delgado province, where 28 fatalities were reported. The disaster also caused 3 deaths in the Nampula province and 3 more in Niassa. India's capital, New Delhi, woke up to another day of hazardous air, with the air quality index recorded at 442. Hence, the placing of the region in the severe category. Some monitoring stations even reported severe plus levels, marking the city's worst air quality since mid-November. On the shores of Venezuela, a coral conservation project is thriving beneath the waves. In the San Esteban National Park, located on the Santo Domingo Island in Carabobo, a foundation supported by the government is cultivating 6 species of stony coral. This is to combat the effects of climate change on reefs. Global warming, acidification, and ecosystem diseases have left shallow water coral vulnerable to bleaching. Canada has finalized its clean electricity regulations. They have set a new goal to achieve a net zero electricity grid target by 2050 instead of the earlier target of 2035. The adjustment follows feedback from provinces and energy stakeholders who raised concerns about reliability, cost, and potential stranded assets under the original plan. Currently, 85% of Canada's electricity comes from clean sources like hydropower, wind, and solar. Ecuador has finalized its second Debt for Nature swap, securing $460 million to conserve the Amazon rainforest and wetlands. By repurchasing over $1.5 billion in discounted bonds with cheaper financing, the country will save nearly $500 million over 17 years to fund conservation efforts. Google, H&M, Stripe and other members of the climate-focused Frontier Coalition have pledged $80 million to purchase carbon credits from innovative emissions capture projects. These include a firm repurposing oil industry technology to capture paper mill emissions and another firm that will use rocks to absorb emissions from sewage plants. Now on to business and tech news. The US Congress is set to vote on a bill restricting US investments in China. It's part of a government funding deal that the US Department of the Treasury finalized in October this year. The bill aims to limit U.S. investments in areas like artificial intelligence and other technologies. The bill also includes other provisions aimed at national security concerns about China. A U.S. banking regulator is planning to take legal action against former executives of Silicon Valley Bank. They're accused of breaches of duty for mismanaging the bank. Silicon Valley Bank collapsed in 2023 after a sudden run by its customers. The regulator says that the bank's leadership mismanaged several aspects of its finances, leading to the collapse. A Starbucks workers' union has voted to authorize a potential future strike. It represents about 10,000 U.S. baristas from the coffee chain. The union is currently negotiating a new wage deal with Starbucks. However, it has said that the management hasn't put forward a comprehensive package on the table. Workers are demanding better pay and better working conditions. Japanese automaking giants Honda and Nissan are reportedly in talks about a possible merger. Reports suggest that the two firms may either merge into one company or they may establish a joint holding firm for closer collaboration. The companies have confirmed discussions on future collaboration. However, they refrained from calling it a merger. The merger deal between American entertainment firms Paramount Global and Skydance Media has been challenged. A non-profit law firm has opposed the deal at the Federal Communications Commission. It has raised concerns about Chinese investment in Skydance Media. Skydance Media is partly owned by China's Tencent Holdings. Elon Musk and his rocket company SpaceX are reportedly under federal investigations in the U.S. They're accused of failing to comply with national security reporting protocols. The probes are related to Musk's undisclosed talks with foreign leaders, including Russian President Vladimir Putin. As U.S. government contractors, SpaceX and its CEO Musk are required to disclose this information to U.S. authorities. American artificial intelligence startup Databricks has raised a whopping $10 billion in a new funding round. Thrive Capital, Andreessen Horowitz, DST Global and GIC were among the investors in the fundraiser. The new investment gives Databricks a valuation of about $62 billion. The 11-year-old firm is involved in processing, storing and monetizing data. Japanese chipmaker Kioxia debuted its shares on the Tokyo Stock Exchange today. The firm's share prices rose by 14%, sending its market valuation to over $5.8 billion. Kioxia raised about $800 million during the initial public offering. It aims to use the funds for the construction of a new facility. A European Union data privacy regulator has imposed a $263 million fine on social media giant Meta. This is over a 2018 Facebook data breach that affected about 29 million users. At the time, hackers exploited Facebook's feature called View As. It allowed users to see what their own profile looked like to someone else. The Democratic Republic of the Congo has sued Apple in France and Belgium. It accused the iPhone maker of using minerals extracted by armed groups. Apple has denied the allegations. The iPhone maker said that its suppliers stopped buying conflict minerals from the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda. Moving to sports, we start with cricket. The third test between India and Australia in Brisbane ended in a draw. Rain forced play to be abandoned following tea on day 5 at the Gabba. India, chasing 267 runs for victory, were 8-0 in their second innings when bad light stopped play. The match could not resume after the break. The 5-test series is tied at 1-1. Indian spinner Ravichandran Ashwin has declared international retirement. He announced his retirement after the third Border-Gavaskar test in Brisbane. Ashwin leaves the game as India's second highest wicket taker in the test format. His retirement is effective immediately. Mitchell Santner has been named New Zealand's white ball captain. The left-arm spinner replaces Kane Williamson at the position, who resigned after the T20 World Cup. Santner's first major assignment will be the Champions Trophy next year. Santner has previously captained in 24 T20 internationals. The West Indies have appointed Darren Sammy as their new head coach. The former captain will be guiding them in all three cricket formats. Sammy's first task will be helping his team win the home test series against Australia in June 2025. In football, Real Madrid winger Vinicius Jr. has been awarded the FIFA Best Men's Player 2024. This is for his stellar season with the Los Blancos. He played a vital role in Real Madrid's successful 2023-24 season. After the announcement, Vinicius said, and I quote, "It seemed impossible when I played barefoot in the streets of São Gonçalo, and now I'm here." Meanwhile, Barcelona midfielder Aitana Bonmati was named Women's Player of the Year at the FIFA Best Awards. This is her second year in a row. She was a crucial part of the Spanish team that won the 2023 Women's World Cup tournament. Aston Villa's Emilio Martinez has been awarded the Best FIFA Men's Goalkeeper for the second time in 3 years. The Argentine World Cup winner has also claimed the honor in 2022. The 32-year-old goalkeeper further solidified his status by winning the Yashin Trophy at this year's Ballon d'Or Awards. Marcus Rashford has openly discussed his readiness for a new challenge. His remarks come amid speculation about his future at Manchester United. Rashford has been with United for at least 20 years. His comments signal that his stint with the club might be nearing an end. The National Basketball Association in the US has changed the All-Star game into an All-Star tournament. This new format will be implemented for the upcoming season in San Francisco. The tournament will feature 4 teams and 3 games. Each game will end when a team reaches 40 points. Conor McGregor has announced that he will take part in a fight with Logan Paul. The exhibition match will take place in India. This will be McGregor's first fight since breaking his leg in 2021. After the fight, he plans to return to the UFC, or Ultimate Fighting Championship. In entertainment news, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has unveiled the shortlist for the 97th Oscars. Emilia Perez is leading the way with 6 mentions, including makeup, sound, original score, international feature, and 2 for original songs. Following closely behind is Wicked, which secured 4 nominations. Conan O'Brien is set to host the 2025 Oscars, scheduled for March 2nd. Megan Thee Stallion has filed a restraining order against Tory Lanez. She's claiming that he is harassing her from behind bars while serving a 10-year sentence for a 2020 incident in which he shot at her feet. In a detailed 194-page filing, Megan Thee Stallion's legal team describes Lanez as a violent and dangerous criminal. They allege that Lanez continues to terrorize Megan Thee Stallion from prison. Hyesung, a member of the K-pop group Vanna, has been discharged from compulsory military service just a month after enlisting, citing medical reasons. According to Clap Entertainment, Hyesung was hospitalized 2 weeks after his November 2024 enlistment for a detailed medical examination. The Military Manpower Administration later ruled him unfit for active military service. Ariana Grande fans were buzzing over the weekend with rumors of a 2025 tour. Speaking at an event, Grande herself addressed the speculation, emphasizing that her current focus is on acting. She said, and I quote, "Music and being on stage will always be a part of my life." She thinks the next few years will be about exploring different forms of art, and acting feels like home right now. Emilia Clarke, Edgar Ramirez and Jack Farthing have been cast in Next Life. It's a romantic drama from acclaimed writer-director Drake Doremus. The film follows Ivy as she navigates love and life across parallel universes, each offering vastly different outcomes. It's set against the backdrop of London's jazz scene. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, the third installment in Sony's animated Spider-Man trilogy, has tapped Bob Persichetti and Justin K. Thompson as directors. Both have been integral to the franchise's creative team since 2018's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Girls 5 Ever, the musical comedy about a 90s girl group making a comeback, has been cancelled for the second time, this time by Netflix. After streaming its first 2 seasons on Peacock, Netflix picked up the series for a third season, which aired in March 2024. The Old Man, a thriller series starring Jeff Bridges and Dan Chase, a former CIA operative, has been cancelled after 2 seasons on FX. Based on Thomas Perry's novel, the series followed Chase as he went into hiding after killing a home intruder. Bad Monkey, the quirky crime series starring Vince Vaughn, has been renewed for a second season at Apple TV+. The series, based on Carl Hiaasen's novel, premiered in August 2024 with its season finale airing in October. The show follows Andrew Yancey, a former Miami police officer turned health inspector in the Florida Keys. After discovering a human arm, Yancey embarks on a mission to solve a murder. American media personality Khloe Kardashian is set to launch her very own video podcast. She will host weekly conversations with celebrities. The first episodes will feature guests like Scott Disick, podcast host Jay Shetty, and author Mel Robbins. Kardashian feels that this podcast will allow her to explore powerful topics like love, healing, and happiness. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to First Post.